Evening world, it's about 7 p.m. on Friday, the 23rd of December 2022, and I've just been doing January's forecasts for the signs of the zodiac for a video channel I do them for, and I've got an idea of what's coming up, but I want to have a look at what's actually going on, not so much in January, but right now. A lot of people have been dying around recently, and I just want to say a big thank you to two people in particular who are no longer around. Terry Hall, lead singer of the Specials, kind of music I grew up with. When I went to live in the Caribbean in 1980, I took with me the first albums by Madness, Selector and the Specials, and the local rastas there were just blown away with what I brought out as white man reggae, and the Specials were just like, they were great. So thank you, Terry Hall. Also, thank you, Nick Turner. Died about a month ago. Hawkwind, to me, I've seen Hawkwind so many times. 70s, 80s, 90s on the festival circuits and the fairs and the shows. Hawkwind still are. But Nick Turner, you were great. Thank you. I digress. Astrology. Neptune is standing still in Pisces, beginning to inch forward now. About blooming time. Uranus is standing still in a few weeks' time. Going to start moving forward in Taurus. Fine. Saturn has stood still and is now moving forward in Aquarius. Great. As we speak, the Sun and the Moon and Mercury and Venus and Pluto are all in Capricorn. 5 planets in Capricorn today and tomorrow. Mars, bright red in the sky. If you're in the northern hemisphere, go out at night when you've got a clear sky, 3 hours after sunset, and look up. Mars is so far north. Unfortunately, if you're in the southern hemisphere, you won't be seeing it. But in the northern hemisphere at the moment, Mars is so bright. And the way to tell it's Mars, you can see it. It's due south around about 3 hours after sunset, but high in the sky. And it's bright orange. And you know it's not a star because stars twinkle, planets don't. It was new moon today. New moon in Capricorn. Yesterday was solstice. I went to a very sacred space. I was going to go to Stonehenge, but you know what? All the floodlights, all the security guards, all the police, and all the people I thought, I don't want to do this anymore. So I went to the biggest ancient hill fort in Britain on the Hampshire-Dorset border, a triple henge. You'll see a picture of it on this video. And in total, there were 5 people there. And it was amazing walking through this really ancient site, thousands and thousands of years old, completely alone, walking into it and around it in the dark, seeing the sunrise at the end of the year, not seeing the sunrise, but being there as the sun rose in cloud, and then walking back around the rings of it in the light. So we end the year in the dark and we come back in the light. Wonderful way to start the astronomical and astrological new year. So happy solstice to those of you who actually celebrated it yesterday. And then it's followed by today's new moon in Capricorn. Square Jupiter with Mars still retrograde and a big Mercury retrograde about to happen. Mercury is now getting ready to stand still. It will go retrograde itself in about a week's time, 29th. But it's already standing still close to, but not on top of, Pluto. Less than 5 degrees away. And when it goes retrograde, it will be less than 3 degrees away. So with Mercury conjunct Pluto, there's going to be some hard words spoken over the coming week. And with the new moon today square Jupiter, some of it's going to be well over the top. So I thought I'd had my 6 penneth worth. I live in a country where It's been pretty crazy in Britain in the last few years, as it has in every country in the world, of course. But we live in times of political unrest. And in Britain at the moment, there's lots of strikes. Britain led the world during 30 years ago, during Margaret Thatcher's time, when she denationalised every industry and put it in the hands of the shareholders and the private investors. Now all of these industries are collapsing under the weight of all the money that's gone out of them. And everyone's going on strike. There's loads of strikes in Britain at the moment. The postmen are on strike. The train drivers are on strike. The ambulance drivers are on strike. But these are mainly in companies that have been privatised and they're owned by shareholders and hedge funds and things like this. So the workers have to negotiate with these faceless bodies. But the nurses are going on strike and the ambulance drivers are going on strike and maybe the teachers are going on strike. These have not been nationalised. These are still run by the country. And when I see the way in which our government is so dismissive of the nurses and the ambulance drivers, I get so angry, because these are people who saved our country over the 2 years of COVID. They worked tirelessly without thought of reward. They saved thousands and thousands of lives. They're the unsung heroes. So I don't care about the corporate groups that own all the other institutions, but the nurses, government, give them the money. Give them the money. They deserve every penny. And the government spent billions of pounds giving faceless corporate groups hundreds of millions of pounds for PPI stuff that never materialised. A lot of people got very rich very quick, yet they won't give the nurses the money. There's something fundamentally wrong there. Anyway, that's my rant. In the next few days, between now, say, and the end of the year, with Mars standing still, with Mercury standing still, and in fact, Mercury is standing still something like 135 degrees away from Mars. So it's an astrological term, a sesiquiquadrate. 3/8 of a circle, 1.5 squares. It's an angle that's past a square, which creates problems but releases energy to change those problems into gifts. But it's not at the point of an opposition where it's like a fait accompli, you just got to live with it. It's in between the two. It's like that. And that's like an itch you can't scratch. It's a niggle and it's a frustration. So over this next week and a half through to the end of the year, there's going to be lots of growling and itching and scratching with people just really having a go at each other, whether it's in the political world, the economic world, or over the Christmas dining table between factions of family. You know, it's going to be a bit of a messy time. So don't let your buttons get pushed if you're one of these people that's being affected by this. However, I want to end this video on a positive note. Having done the forecast for January, it's clear to me that the more we get into January, January seems to be a month where we're going to be able to sort of actually kind of wash our hands pretty much of 2022, not to rush into 23, because the more we get into 23, the more things are going to change radically, but not until March, because come March, Saturn's going to move into Pisces. Pluto's going to move into Aquarius for the first time. It will move backwards, but you know, big shifts are beginning to change. It's the beginning of something absolutely massive. So big, I don't think we've ever seen anything like it. And this is all to do with the massive shifts that are coming over the coming couple of 2 or 3 years. More on that soon. I'll probably do a video on this to accompany my New Year's videos, which will be out before New Year. I'll be doing a video for every sign of the zodiac, as well as a global one, as I have done every year since 2011. Right, I'm getting out of here before I say something else I regret. I don't want to get booted off of YouTube. Have a great solstice time. Great. And have a good festive period, whatever religion you are. Enjoy yourselves. The days are beginning to get longer if you're in the Northern Hemisphere now. And I'll see you before the end of the year. Take care now. Bye.